some of them I realized that I looked at the thing on that. Is this a clip? Because it looks like it just starts in the middle of the conversation.
I saw a couple episodes, so I know what you mean. Maybe that's the best way, just to
makes it more casual.
Yeah, let it roll.
Okay, how about this? Well, what was your idea? Did you have an idea for?
Well, did you want to? So I have some I prepared some questions on my phone, like a millennial.
Okay,
reporter.
well, what was your idea for beginning the show?
Oh, I didn't have one. What was yours?
Okay, well, why don't we just do this?
I'm just gonna get my water out.
I think you'll be able to pick this up. I'm not even going to spell. Okay. Hi, my name's Elliot Wilcox, and this is
Sue. That's who.
And you're watching Velvet Aquarium. Yay! Live from Raleigh.
NC.
Maybe can you do like the Conan O'Brien?
I don't know if I have such a wonderful chest voice as you.
Maybe you could
That might be all you
okay,
on that one.
Here's what we'll do. After we do the show, we'll get you you can warm up and try a couple different things, and then we'll put that. We'll use if you don't mind.
Oh wait, so what am I saying? Well, I couldn't tell what you were saying.
We'll come up with something. I mean, we can do it now. I mean, this is really casual, or we could do the show, and then after, we could get a couple of takes of you doing something like that, and find out what you want to say.
Okay. Were you saying aquarium? I couldn't tell what you were saying.
Velvet Aquarium.
Okay. Yeah, so I could just say aquarium.
Yeah.
Is that what you were saying?
Yeah. No, what I just said was Conan O'Brien.
Oh, Conan O'Brien. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Conan, Jimmy Fallon. Whatever.
Well, he has a guy that actually does that.
I haven't seen that show in so long.
Is there any chance you might watch it? Because I wanted to tell you about something that my auntie
I would watch it if there's something that I could,
I never noticed this before. Okay, check this out. I watched that show religiously. It was like one of the things that I did almost through the entire 90s. And my auntie said, "Oh, you like Conan O'Brien?" I was like, "Yeah." And she goes, "That's the guy with the tongue." And I was like,
the tongue.
He has a tongue?
Yeah.
But she said, "Oh, you haven't noticed that?" And I was like, "No." And shame on me for doubting. I was like, she said he does a thing with his tongue where he goes.
Oh my gosh.
Have you ever noticed that? Can you see it now?
Yeah, because I've seen clips. I do know what you're talking about.
Okay. Yeah, it's almost well, yeah, and somebody pointed out to me that it was like, does that make sense? Because I can move it. You're gonna survive?
I used to smoke.
I just I thought she must be crazy because of course I would notice that, and I never noticed it. And then the next time I watched it, I saw it, and I was like, "Oh my god!" And she was telling me, now that you notice it, or when you finally do notice it, you'll never get it out of your.
You can't stop seeing it.
Right, but he does it almost like segment. Okay, and it's almost like he's turning a page with his tongue, and he'll go on to another thing.
Oh yeah, and it's I can see that.
So it's almost like his little moving on. We'll go to this part.
I'll have to watch it now, for the timing. I didn't notice the timing. Kind of reminds me of when kids are drawing, they always have the tongue out. They'll have it to the side.
Mm-hmm. I noticed it with basketball players.
Oh really?
When they're shooting. We used to do this guy who played for Carolina when we were kids. His name was Phil Ford, and we would imitate because we all loved basketball.
Yeah. He had the tongue.
It's a concentration thing.
Yeah,
right?
it's a concentration. And I'm sure people I've seen drummers, guitarists.
Mm-hmm.
Usually it's not a tongue though. It's more, just.
I had a friend that said, "Is it harder to play when you get up to these higher notes because you always go like."
Yeah, you kind of do a little face.
It's like a face. It's like and what she was perceiving it as being a strain. It's
so hard.
Right, it's really hard to get this. But I said, no. What do you think it is?
I think it's kind of like you're just your body is becoming the note. You're kind of feeling the note. And you're it's
that's it. Up here. Yeah, it's a really high note, and you're.
Yeah, it's kind of like your body's rocking out with that high note.
Yeah,
that's your response.
That's it. That's good.
Response.
Are you a musician?
I am actually.
Well, what do you do?
Well,
do tell. I think this is the interview now.
Oh, this is the interview?
Right.
Hello, world.
Even-
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
I play guitar and bass. I
killer.
grew up playing guitar, and I mostly play bass now because it seems like bands just need bassists more than the guitarists.
Everybody plays guitar.
Everyone does.
Yeah.
And I do think a lot of people play bass too, because it's an easy it was for me an easy transition. I never took lessons or anything.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope I'm playing the bass right. I don't know if I really am. I assume I am.
If it sounds good, it is
and
good.
I think it sounds good. Yeah. So I dabble.
Somebody told me that notes are more expensive on the bass than they are on the guitar.
Yes.
Which I really liked.
Expensive.
That was the way that he put the philosophy. I really appreciate
I think that's
that.
accurate. I mean, with the bass, it's like the backbone. So it's kind of it's misleading. You think you can get away with messing up, but actually it's, I think, the most important, because you can be sloppy in the guitar and it kind of gets covered up and washed out.
Thank God.
Or it's just rock and roll, but it's not rock and roll to hit a bad note on the bass.
Yeah, you can hear it. It's like the drums. The drums are the worst thing to mess up.
Yes.
Roger's a drummer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You play drums for a band or just for fun?
Random Mother.
Okay, you're Random Mother. I saw that someone was wearing a shirt with one of your interviews for Random Mother. I was going to ask.
Yeah.
Right. That's
you
the
in-
keyboard player.
Oh,
He's Turner.
Turner, yes.
Turner Brandon.
Yeah.
I always forget his last name. I've known him for 12 years or something.
Just call him Turner.
And so your name is Edelberg? Is that how you say it? Is
Yes.
it
And it's Edelberg. You said
Okay.
it right. You spelled it right.
Nice.
I've gotten all types of things. I've gotten Edelberger. I got Edelberg.
Edelberg.
Edelweiss. It gets all over the place. But you nailed it. First try.
Edelweiss.
Yeah.
Yeah. So are you like German? You have German? Are you Germany?
Yeah, I'm Germany. Yeah.
You are Germany.
I have some German.
And I am from French.
And you're
No,
from, okay.
no,
Wilcox.
actually, no.
No?
I'm not. It's English. It's
Okay.
actually wilcoxen, and so it comes from, I guess, somebody way back in some point did something where they either sold oxen, or if you needed an ox for this or that, maybe you could rent my ox to pull your cart or pull a plow or something.
His oxen.
Oxen,
Wilcox.
and then it was shortened to Wilcox.
Yeah, I wonder what mine once was.
I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, definitely that seems Americanized too. So
Yeah,
Even
it could
anything.
be. My grandmother, though, my dad's mom is her name was Viola Eggleston.
ooh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow. Eggleston.
Yeah.
What is
Viola
that?
Eggleston. It's German.
It's German,
I mean,
okay.
I think she just said Eggleston, and most people would, but I'm trying to give it more.
Give it
whatever,
more little.
legit Germanist things.
So mine's actually it's a German Jewish last name. My dad's side is Jewish. I'm not really Jewish because it wasn't my mom's side,
Mhm.
but I guess we're ethnically Jewish. I didn't grow up practicing, but that's a little bit of German Jewish.
Well, so what is there anything about it? Is it the Edel or the Berg? Or
I think it's the Berg. Like Adel is like classic German, and then Berg would be the Jewish part. Like a lot of like that.
I wonder if
Berg.
Okay, yeah, you're right. I have
Jewish
a friend that's
people, yeah.
Izzy Berger, and she's part Jewish.
Yeah. Part Jewish.
Interesting. Yeah, I guess I grew up Methodist, but I don't practice any.
Yeah, I don't practice either. I was going to ask, so speaking about music, so you're in a band too right now, right? Or you're doing solo stuff?
I've been opening up for my friend Random Mother because they needed somebody to open up for them, and they asked me to do it.
I love that.
And I was actually playing acoustic guitar, and I was singing, "Close your eyes, give me your hand. Close your eyes, give me your hand. Do you feel my heart beating? Do you understand? Do you feel the same? Am I only dreaming, darling? And is this burning an eternal flame? And I was singing that, and and Roger was like, "You could do that. You could do that." And I said, "You want me to sing '80s covers?"
Okay,
So
I love that.
I did covers for and one
I love covers.
one original that I had a story about writing. So
Yeah.
I told the story of writing a song.
Like VH1 behind the music, kind of.
Kind of, yeah. It was
what's
actually, it's an interesting story. I'll tell you some other time. I've already done that in public, and they're putting it up on there. It may be up. I dreamt a song and remembered it because we were talking about the song in the dream.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was actually hanging out with Joe Strummer
Okay.
from The Clash,
Mm-hmm.
And so I called the song Joe Strummer. I was the most vivid version. I know that I've had dreams where I've had music in them and realized later that was something I wrote, like I wrote the soundtrack for my dream. But I'd never had it so vivid that I was actually able to capture the butterfly, so to speak.
Like the actual, like, were there words that you heard in your dream?
I knew what the story was about.
Mm-hmm.
I knew it was about this person who lived vicariously through the people that lived across the street. He could see the window in the apartment in, like, say, New York or something, and he became attached to the people, and I knew there was a part where he fell in love with one of them because Joe, at one point, like, we looked over at the part and Joe went like, "Oh," and I was like, "I know, I love that part." So yeah, the fact that we were talking about the lyric and the whole thing meant when I woke up, I knew it, and I could hear the song in my head, and I knew how it went musically, which is more commonly the thing that I'll do. But actually having a storyline that was in the whole complete thing was
really
there.
That's really cool. Yeah, I've gotten
It's
ideas
neat.
for stories from dreams.
Mhm.
I think songs. I feel like when I was a kid, I tried to play the piano, and I had a dream about writing a song, and I feel like I wrote it. I don't remember what the words were, but I heard the melody in my dream, and now I don't really hear melodies in my dream, but I'll get ideas more for storylines, like you were saying.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I used to, I remember when I was in high school, it's going to sound really dangerous, I used to write songs in my car, like actually write them.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I was able to, like, I had the paper on the steering wheel, and I would, like, write while I was driving. It was like something about driving, like, really hit the, like,
I get
muse.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like high stakes songwriting.
Can you do that with your phone and just hit like the record?
So now, in the era, I mean, back in high school, I didn't even have a cell phone. Maybe I had like a flip phone or something. But now, yeah, it's a lot safer. I can just hit the record button.
I bought a little device that was like, oh yeah, you charged it with a computer charger or whatever, and it was just like a little recorder. And I did that, and then I got a phone. And I was like, well.
Yep, I should have done that because those were around. I think I was just too cheap or something to get one.
I realized the same thing that you did, that the best songs come from, I mean, if you sit down at an instrument and try and write a song, it's torturous.
It's
you
torture.
know?
It's the worst. Nothing comes out. It's just like blank.
Yeah.
Yeah, trying to write doesn't work, but it happens when you don't try. I remember one of your viewees, Daniel, was talking about working like at a coffee shop and using that time.
That was me. He works as a caterer.
He works as a caterer. Oh, you said that you got inspired like while working.
Mm-hmm.
It was almost like getting paid to write music in a way.
Yeah, it was.
I had that too.
Where did you work?
See, I've worked at Starbucks back in college, and then even more recently I worked at Coffee Works in the Raleigh Pharmacy. It's very, very small. Most people don't really know about it.
Yeah, I don't even know where Raleigh Pharmacy is.
Do you remember where the Remedy was the second time? Rest in peace.
Mm-hmm.
It was right next door to that. It was like that roundabout on Hillsboro and Morgan Street.
Okay. Now that you say that,
You've probably gone by
I'm sure.
there.
I know. I've certainly gone by there thousands of times.
You know,
but
you've gone in.
just noticed the place being there. But yeah, okay, I remember that now.
So, and that's actually where Storm Snatchers was born.
Right.
At the Raleigh Pharmacy, at the coffee shop there.
I love Storm Snatchers. In fact, that you were talking about the hat on the T-shirt. I quoted you on Instagram, and I was holding that, and I named that hat, put Pippi Longstocking because of the braids.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, this is my favorite coverall for Arctic Blasts.
Yes,
and
I
you
remember.
were talking about Arctic Blasts.
Yes, there was an Arctic Blast in like 2019 or something. I Yeah, maybe it was 2020.
Yeah.
I do remember that you had the beanie with the long.
Yeah, you commented or you liked it or something.
I liked it. So. I would wear weird stuff too. I mean, I'd wear like wigs and all types.
Oh
of
yeah.
Stuff. I was getting way into it.
Yeah, are you going to continue doing that?
So that's another rest in peace.
Oh.
I got hacked.
What does that mean?
Well, it was kind of embarrassing. I got phished. So I got my account taken away from me by a hacker. So I no longer have access to the original Storm Snatchers account.
Okay. Well, I mean, I know what hacking is, but how does that mean that you can't do it anymore?
So I could start a new account, sure. Mm-hmm. But I spent a long time, I was trying to get it back. I really wanted that original account because it has all, my history.
Right.
So I didn't really want to start over. And then, so during that time, I guess I took a break from it, right? Just the other things, and it's very hard to get an account back with Instagram.
Okay.
Extremely hard. So I kept trying for like about a month or two. And then I kind of realized, I was like, you know what? I might just take a little break. Because it's not where I do it now where I live out and moved out to the burbs. I no longer live at Cameron Court, which was right near the Raleigh pharmacy.
Right. It's
so
across from, whatever, is that St. Mary's?
St. Mary's.
Yeah.
So it was like way more interactive. There was like people around and like I would do it like on the clock at the pharmacy, at the coffee shop there.
Does that have the courtyard? Is that the white place or is it the next to... Is it the brick place?
The Cameron Court is that big brick.
Okay. Yeah. I had a friend that lived there too.
Oh, yeah. A lot of people moved there over the years. I used to hang out there in high school, and now I lived there, but not anymore. So it was way more interactive down there, and I would just have people, and now it's like me out like in my yard, and I was like, yeah, I'm kind of like running out of like things to say about the weather. I feel like it's just me.
It was so good though.
It was fun. So maybe we'll do a revival.
Do you remember when we first met?
I was trying to actually remember that. Was that at King's or was it way before that?
It was in front of King's.
Can you jog my memory a little? I do remember seeing you in King's.
Okay, I was hanging out
Rest
with.
in peace.
Oh my God, my
so
memory.
Much rest in peace.
What's Cha Cha Pants' name?
Tina.
Yep.
What'd you call her?
Cha Cha Pants.
Oh, that's so cute.
She's
adorable.
Yeah, she is. Yeah, she's fantastic.
Yeah, she's the best.
So I was hanging out with her, and you were talking, and then I saw you, and I was like, "Oh my God, you're the Storm Snatcher! Oh, I love your thing!" And absolutely true.
Yeah.
It just makes me so happy when you do that. I mean, when I used to watch that, it was just like, I don't know, you just have a wonderful energy about you.
Thank you.
And you're so beautiful, and you're so cute, and just whatever you brought to that, I would be like, oh, good, Storm Snatch. I mean, I didn't care what the weather was.
Right,
I just wanted to see you be you.
Be doing the weather.
Yeah, and I was like, just so excited to meet you. I was like, I think that's the first time that I met somebody from something that I felt like, you get to feel like you know somebody. I mean, not in a creepy way, but and you look forward to seeing somebody that you don't know, but you have a relationship with this online thing.
Absolutely.
And maybe it feels a little closer because it's not like Conan O'Brien.
Right, I'm not like a
like
famous
that.
celebrity. Like,
right.
It's a local person.
Right.
And I'm not famous at all.
Right.
I have like 250 followers.
Well, I don't know.
I mean, maybe locally. Local celeb.
I remember that, and it was out, and I went, maybe it was like a hopscotch or something.
Yeah, I feel like it was one of those like kind of like festival vibes. It was like everyone was out. You're jogging my memory, and now I do remember you saying this, and I remember going to John, my partner, and saying, "Oh my gosh, like somebody I don't know." Just
was I one of your first?
Yeah, you were my
you?
first. Yeah.
Oh wow.
How did you get the? Cause it's private.
I haven't. Maybe it's because of Tina.
That's probably what it was.
Who else do I know Tina and Tessa.
Yes.
And
Tessa.
Who else is in that?
Awesome.
I knew a lot of people, or I knew at least a few people that you know.
Mutual. So I probably vetted you. I saw your account. I was like, okay, he's cool. So the reason I made it private was because it was like kind of naughty weather.
Oh, right.
It was like kind of, it had some curse words, had some toilet language. It was kind of like, ooh, like 13-year-old boy, kind of like Beavis and Butthead style a little bit sometimes. So I didn't want my parents to see it. So hopefully they won't see this video. I didn't want them to see how naughty their daughter was.
Yeah.
naughty weather.
I made a comment about this couch on the first interview, and I sort of felt bad about saying it. So of course now I'm bringing it back. But a friend of mine said, "Oh, I liked when you said the thing about the couch," and it was basically just about having relations on this couch.
Yeah,
But this couch is clean, by the way. Just so
It looks
you know.
very. It looks. I'm gonna second that. It looks extremely clean.
This couch cost $120.
Okay.
It's
not
got
bad.
little paws on it. It's got wood.
$120.
I've been looking for a velvet couch for a
Oh,
long time.
It does. It has those feet. It's
Mhm.
like a claw tub.
You're right.
Oh my gosh! But
Isn't
a
that
claw
cool?
couch. Yes. Where did you find this for $120?
It's at the thrift shop if you're going down Western Boulevard towards Cary, and you pass.
Oh.
You pass. There's
On the left.
there's like an Indian market on the left.
Yes. Oh, I know.
In
what
that
you're
little
talking
shopping
about.
center, and then it's up all by itself.
Yes.
But,
Yes.
yeah.
It's called. It's not like Second Find. No, I'm probably making that up completely.
I don't know. I mean, if you said the name of it, I may or may not remember it. Hold up.
Bless you.
I don't want my stomach not to make noises.
Sure.
I have a noise. See, now it's going to start talking to
Now
me.
I feel like I have a noise coming up too.
Maybe we'll
It's
have a little
contagious, like a
conversation.
sneeze. Yeah. Our stomachs will interview each other.
Oh, so
What were you gonna say about the cat? Oh.
I was going to not say anything. about
Okay,
the couch.
okay,
Oh, well,
okay,
a
okay.
friend of mine said, "Oh, I like when you said the thing about that couch." And I said,
Not to be
"Yeah."
repeated.
And I was like, "Yeah, sometimes I don't know if I'm going to try and tone down my dirty humor and all that." And he said, "Oh," and he goes, "No, I like your humor." And I said, "Well, there's more where that came from." And
Oh.
yeah. So not to give too much away. And I didn't even mean to say that. And then I walk away and I'm like, oh God, I just actually really,
It was like innuendo.
that was the
even.
perfect thing to have said. But if you're naughty.
Now I'll have to go look back and watch that episode.
Yes. I do that too. It's fine. Okay, so I want to get back to this, and
Let's
then
get back,
we can.
let's get back.
So I remembered this too about us meeting, and this is the reason why I think it must have happened at Hopscotch or some kind of thing, because I was out again the next night, and
There it is.
did you hear?
Yeah, I did. A little gurgle.
It sounded aquatic. It was an aquarium.
aquarium,
That's
yeah.
what it is.
Perfect.
It's the aquarium noise that comes from my stomach. And I think that you were like, you came over and you goes, "Oh," and you're such an unassuming, nice person. I don't really know you that well.
That's
I
all
can't.
right. You can say that. It's true.
But you were like, "Oh, do you?" And because we hung out a little bit, we had
Yeah.
more than one conversation
Like,
that
yeah.
night. And I guess you were wondering if I remembered meeting you the night before. And you said, Did you? And I looked, and I think at least Tina and somebody else, and this was standing on one side, and we were standing over here. And you said, "Are you?" And I said, "Hey, look who I got on my side, y'all."
Oh, yes. It was your side.
Yeah. And then you went, "Oh, well, okay." And
I
so,
guess you remember.
Yeah.
That sounds like hopscotch. Sounds like maybe I was drunk and I thought,
Yeah.
I fuzzed, it was a little fuzzy. That's
Right.
you were a little fuzzy. I know
Right.
you're sober now, right?
Oh,
But
I
back
don't-
then, were you?
No, I haven't been around alcohol on a regular basis for like 15 years.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
I've had
Great.
whatever you call relapses.
Relapses,
It lasted for a month or so here and there, but actually I've had 3 in 15 years, but
That's
they didn't.
not bad at all.
Yeah, they didn't get to the point where everything fell apart.
So that night was probably not a night.
No, I wasn't
Yeah.
drinking that night.
I love that you can have that kind of fun sober. That's great.
Yeah, after a while you realize that you're still the same person. The thing that I miss about alcohol, I would say, is, well, besides everything, and then, well, all the other things that come with it,
Yeah.
unfortunately, or things that I don't miss. But as far as the feeling goes, is that if you're like this, you can go gaga 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 gaga. Oh, now I really feel like going out.
Right.
You can just turn it on.
Ah, yes. It is like a switch. You flip.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the part you miss.
Yeah, I miss being able to. It's like having that. Maybe it's a control, or maybe it's a thing where I can just if I'm not in the mood to play music or do
Yeah.
something social, it's like it's right there, you know.
That is a good point. I think that's a big reason why people do it, for
Mhm.
sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I also, I'm like, I during the pandemic, I actually drank a lot less, which is the opposite for a lot of people.
Yeah, I know a lot of people that
And
drink.
I felt great. I lost weight, blah, blah, blah. And of course now I'm like, blah, 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 you know, going back up drinking now that everything's kind of back to normal-ish.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. And, but I was like, gosh, I kind of wanted to keep that. I wanted to, like, you know, not drink as much. But yeah, it's hard. I mean, I don't drink at home. I only drink when I go out. But it's like, it's so hard to get excited about going out. Or even to, like, keep the energy up. 'Cause I'm just like, somehow it's like one drink makes you tired, then like a couple more drinks makes you, like, excited.
I think is it the sugar?
Maybe. Well,
I definitely got like really super like
Amped.
motivated
Yeah.
and amped up. Yeah, absolutely.
Get amped up. It's like, yeah, so, yeah, it's definitely harder to do that. So I don't go out as much as I used to before the pandemic. Now I kind of just hang out at people's houses. It's more relaxed. You don't need to have that energy. So I was going to ask, do you go out less now that you don't drink, or? 'Cause I don't see you out that much.
Yeah, I mean, well, I haven't started going out that much since the
pandemic.
Since the pan, I haven't gotten back into the mode of doing it. But I mean, when I lived in Nashville, Tennessee, and this is when I was I was in three bands at one point. It's very motivated toward that whole thing. You know, the whole being in a band, getting popular, and networking, and all this and this. I went out every night for about, I mean, almost 10 years, I would say.
Wow, in your 20s?
Yeah.
Wow. All right, that's when you have the energy to do it. You can do it
True.
night after night.
Right, and you don't, like, for one thing, you don't get burnt out on it because you've never been able to do it before. So it's all exciting and new, and also you do have the bounce back stamina.
Yeah, they keep it going.
Once I hit 26, 27, I started realizing like my hangovers would be like, like I felt like I was possessed by the devil or something. It was just horrendous. But you know what helps that?
Food, sleep, water, electrolytes, not drinking. None of that.
Okay. Those all sound very reasonable, Sue. And healthy.
You're say hair of the dog.
Hair of the dog.
That's yeah. You know, I tried hair of the dog actually the other day. I never do that, but after hopscotch this past weekend, I was very hungover. Didn't work. And my stomach hurt. Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna do that again.
Yeah, well, if that was to work for you, it may be a
bad thing. Right?
I don't think that you're an alcoholic. I'm sorry to have to break it to you, Sue.
Oh God, I've always wanted to be one.
I may or may not be an expert on this. But I would, lean toward the idea that maybe I've been around going to meetings for 15 years, so have some sort of idea what that profile looks like.
I'd say you're an expert in the field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do now if you're did you want to talk? Did I interrupt you? You were talk about something else? I was going to ask you.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you have some new, are you going to do something as cool as Storm Snatchers, or do you have anything that's close to that, or something that's completely different from that, or are you just a person that is always like coming up with neat things to do and jumps into them?
So yeah, Storm Snatchers was just completely. It just happened so organically. I wasn't like looking to do anything like that. I will say like definitely like in my 20s, I was always, coming up with new things. I was doing this, I was doing that, and I'm doing, a little bit, less like crazy projects all the time nowadays. So I feel like if something, like now, like I had put pressure on myself to do something else, but I feel like I'm going to just wait until it feels right.
All right.
Part of the thing with Storm Snatchers actually was, I get to the point where like I felt every time it rained, like I had to go outside and get wet and do a report. I was like, you know what? Sometimes I just want to like enjoy the damn storm. I just want to sit in my house, drink some coffee, open the window, and listen to the rain. I don't want to like always have to go out and get wet. And so it was kind of like I just want to wait until I'm inspired. So I don't have any ideas yet. But I do feel like there will be some Storm Snatchers revivals. I'm kind of surprised I didn't do it at Hopscotch because it was so wet.
Oh, right, right,
was so
right.
wet.
Yeah, that would have been
That would
great.
have been great. It just didn't even cross my mind.
You know, I really would have, because I was really curious about, like, I don't know, right here, Saturday night, the big night, and it's crazy, you know. I was actually going to go to see P-Funk in Greensboro.
Oh, okay,
They
yeah,
were supposed
yeah.
to be playing outside, and I was
Yeah.
going to go do that because I didn't get tickets for Hopscotch. Shame on me.
Well, let me tell you, you do not need tickets to have a good time. I mean, tickets definitely help, but there's
Right.
lots of, like Slim's and Poorhouse, you did not need a wristband this year.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the day parties that go all the way to like 6.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to go home for dinner if you don't have a wristband. But yeah, wristbands would get you into Kim Gordon and Courtney Barnett and
High profile.
high profile shows, but you could still have a good time. So I would recommend next year just go on out there.
I could do it. You know, I was notorious for. I played a lot of clubs again in Nashville, Tennessee. I know where the backstage area is. I know where this is and this is. And I mean, like, I walked into the Flaming Lips carrying my girlfriend, who was so drunk with this blue fur on. And I walk in, and the guy goes, "Oh, are you with the band?" And I just went,
Yes.
I almost got on
commit.
stage with John Spencer Blues Explosion because I had my guitar and I was walking from a gig and I was like, John Spencer, and I love John Spencer Blues. I'd already seen him like 5 times. And I had my guitar and I was all dressed up like the devil with a red, like glam rock devil
Yeah,
with
glam
devil
rock.
horns.
Yeah.
And I was like, I bet you I can get in there. So I just walked in and I looked at the person at the booth and just sort of went like this. And she went, "Hey," and I was like, and just walked in with my guitar. And I was like, well, that worked. Kept walking, walked to the backstage area and said, "Hey," and he said, "Hey," I said, "I guess if you can tell John that Elliot's here, just let him know, la la la, since I'm gonna go get tuned up." And they were like, "Well, what?" Because I'd seen him so many times. I was like, "He wants me to get on stage and play guitar with him when, you know, he plays the theremin at that point." So I knew his act, and so I guess that was convincing enough.
Wow.
And he was like, "What?" And I said, "Yeah, just let me sit down and we can talk where we can hear each other, la la la." And backstage, the guy who was opening up for him was this legendary blues man, R.L. Burnside, and I'm dressed up with devil horns and a red fur, and I look,
Like,
whatever,
you
pretty
look-
fabulous, if you
You
will.
look legit. No, I will.
And I had a guitar, and I come around the corner and I say R.L. Burnside, who I of course know who that is, and he goes, "Hey man," I was like, "R.L." And so he was like, "Hey," and I said, "Check it out, man." He was like, "How's it going?" And I sat down, it was like all boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, buddy.
And like, you know, opened up and we were like looking at my guitar and stuff, and this guy's like going, you know, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
And, I almost got on stage. I knew when the gig was up.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is where they're probably going to kick my ass, right? These New York guys. But I ended up just taking my guitar back to the car and then walking back in and seeing the rest of the show.
Did you plan this?
No. It just was I planned it when I started walking past there. I was
Nice,
like,
yes.
because I'd already walked into this place. I did the same thing with like Foo Fighters and
Really?
yeah.
Like you just walk
Just walk in the back door. For this one, I walked in the front door because I had the guitar.
Yeah.
And
I've done that before.
Yeah.
Say, like you have the instrument and
yeah. You just sort of, you act like you know what you're doing. You can almost get into any given situation.
It's true. Maybe it should be off the record for me.
When did you do it? Tell me.
Oh.
Give it up.
Well, I'll tell the big one off the record later. But World of Bluegrass. Do you know this festival?
That sounds familiar. Is that? Oh, well, right. Didn't
IBMA?
Steve Martin play?
Yeah. Steve Canyon Rangers played at like Red Hat or something one year. But it's every end of September. It's coming up in a few weeks. And
Okay.
this is not that big of a deal. But they have these Marriott jams at the very end of the night. Every night.
Okay, hold on.
It's so fun.
What is a Marriott jam?
Oh, at the Marriott.
Oh, at the
Hotel.
Marriott. Okay,
Yeah.
right.
And it sounds
I
like
didn't-
like a
It sounds like a Spanish thing to me.
like the Marietta jams.
Like let's come in at the Marriott.
Yes.
Yeah, I
The
do
little
that.
flamenco. But it's not Spanish, it's the Hotel Marriott. And then
Yeah.
all the floors, most of the floors have people jamming, but there's a couple coveted
nice.
rooms that people really want to get into. Every state has a bluegrass association,
Uh-huh.
and the really popular one is the California Bluegrass Association. They have a California room.
Ah,
Everyone wants to get in the California room.
all right.
They have an open bar.
Nice.
And usually there's some, I don't know like the artist specifically, but you can tell there's some like hardcore bluegrass heads in there.
Yeah.
Old people and older people. Anyway, you had
Doc
to
Watson.
get in. Yeah, there'd probably be someone in his family there. Maybe not him himself. But to get in, you had to have an instrument. And I personally dabbled, but I wouldn't say I could just join a bluegrass jam unless I was given the chords.
Right.
So I just, same thing you did. I just had an instrument and I got in.
So did you just hang out?
Yeah, just hung out. There was enough people and they kind of like hide. No one noticed that I wasn't playing, though I had an instrument.
Yeah.
That was a mild sneak in. I wouldn't say that was your level.
I almost feel bad. I feel bad because that guy was like, what? Another thing that I have to deal with. I'm the road manager. Something that John did that he didn't tell me about, that he's planned, and now I got to deal with this guy, and
Yeah. I know. I feel bad too sometimes, but it's like.
It's still a neat story, right?
It's a great story. I love adventures like that. And
I got to meet R.L. Burnside too. So
right.
That was really
that was totally
priceless.
worth it. Yeah, I mean that guy will. I mean, it was a mild annoyance. Now you have a story of a lifetime for life.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's doing fine.
Yeah. I don't think I ruined too much for him.
So you grew up in Tennessee, but you lived in Greensboro.
No.
Vice versa.
Vice versa. I grew up in Greensboro.
So I lived in Greensboro too.
Yeah.
And what year did you move away from Greensboro?
I left there to 95.
Did you ever go back? Oh, live there again?
No, I moved back here I kind of drank myself out of Nashville. I didn't get kicked out, but and my mom was living in Charlotte, and she said that she was going to move to Raleigh and she needed some help to moving. And she goes, you're not working right now, right? And I was like, oh. I mean, I was essentially unemployable, but it was great. So for me and I need to go help my mom move.
Sure, it's a noble cause.
She needed my help. Right. I didn't need help.
You didn't need her help.
Right.
She needed your help.
Right.
That was the real reason.
Yeah. I actually heard Kim Deal say the same thing.
Oh, yeah?
It's after when I got sober. I was like, oh my God. She was talking about doing something and her parents needed her help and all this. And I was like, yeah, you definitely, when you start drinking the way that I did, you get this kind of red, puffy, kind of, Val Kilmer head. Mm-hmm. It's like, it's like a container for a head. Mine wasn't as bad as that. But
container for a head.
Well, if you look at Val Kilmer, I went to go see the Top Gun, the new movie.
Oh, right. I haven't seen it yet.
I know it's cheesy, okay?
Oh, it's fine. I'm all about cheese.
But it's a pretty fucking good movie. Yeah.
All right.
And you think about it, Tom Cruise, I can't believe I'm sitting here talking about Tom Cruise.
It's okay.
Forgive me. I feel like I'm doing some sin, because he's just such a douche. But he there's no way he was going to drop the ball on that. I mean, that's almost like his legacy.
Oh,
Top
yeah,
Gun thing.
absolutely, yeah.
So whatever the powers that he has in Hollywood, which he does, unfortunately, this is the world we live in. Mm-hmm. But Val Kilmer's just like went from this to Jim Morrison to here to, and yeah.
Not a good look.
Yeah, but I saw Kim Deal and I was like, man, she's looking a little rough for the wear, or whatever that term is.
No, that's right, rough for the wear.
Hey, hold on for 1 second. I know this is really unprofessional.
Commercial break.
Do you want something like a fizzy water?
Oh, I'm good. Thank you for offering. I would, but if I drank anything else, I'll probably hit the water closet again.
We can do pee breaks. We can do fizzy breaks.
I was gonna ask, do you edit it together, or you just stream the whole thing?
There's stuff. If there's anything that you want to put in, like have a drop a this promo. And this, if you're working for this, or some kind of prompt promo, then you can talk about it now, or you can tell me later, or tell Roger. Roger's the wizard behind all this.
But we don't have like commercial breaks. Commercial. But you don't.
Not yet, but we're looking for some people to sponsor.
Yeah, maybe you could have.
And then we have at least like a little, pop-in thing for.
Kind of like how podcasts do. Just like read it, talk about it.
Right.
With a little, like a logo.
That would be pretty funny.
That would be very funny. You could, oh my God, you have so much fun with it.
Imagine like if you were in a conversation like we were having right now, and then you knew that you were supposed to mention something, and you tried to like find some clever segue from the conversation into the, that reminds me.
Have you tried this?
Right.
Future So Bright Sparkling Lemonade.
Right.
Oh, it just hits the spot.
I noticed that you're wearing sunglasses today.
Oh, well, let me tell you.
It just so happens that I'm drinking,
We could have product placement. Yeah. I think it's a great idea. Have so much fun with it.
I feel like chicken tonight. Like chicken tonight. Like chicken tonight. I feel like chicken tonight. Like chicken tonight. Chicken tonight. We're going to harmonize on that one.
Tyson.
By Tyson. Mmm.
Now they need to pay us for saying that. I think you get them to
Bring
pay
the
up.
money. Bring the money.
Pay up.
Do you ever have Tyson chicken?
I have.
Yeah.
I don't recall anything, striking about it, but I know I've had it.
My mom had bought that and put it in the freezer for me, and I don't know how that happened, but she mentioned it so many times, I thought that she was doing a commercial for it. She goes, that Tyson chicken is in the... She's one of those moms where she's like, I bet you haven't eaten anything all day, have you?
Oh, bless her heart. She's the mom.
When I stayed with her, I told you when she needed my help moving, I stayed with her for like 8-9 months. Mm-hmm. This was in my 30s, and I felt like a total loser for having to move back in with my mom.
Hey, it happens more than ever now.
Yeah, I would think
so.
Nesters. I like gained all this weight. She would like, there's a chicken biscuit in there from Bojangles. And I'd be like, Mom, you're like the devil.
But I love it. I love the devil.
They got some damn good biscuits. You get Bojangles.
Sponsorship. Pay up.
Why do they just do chicken? Are you a chicken fan?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'll eat chicken. I'll eat anything.
Yeah?
Food to me is a necessary annoyance.
Right.
I don't cook or anything. I'm just like, it looks like I just inject myself with food. So I'll eat chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, someday, all meals will come in pill form, and you just get on with your industriousness.
Although I do have a garden, and I do, I like that. I like to munch on my produce. I thought I was going to be like inspired to cook. I'd be cooking every day, and no, I think I cooked like 2 omelets with peppers and tomatoes.
Do you make eggs?
Yeah, I do make eggs. I will make some eggs. Yes.
There's like a neighborhood over here. It's the Deadhead neighborhood.
Which one?
It's right down Norris Street.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Dead Zone. I've never called it that. That's a movie.
Zone.
The Dead Zone.
That's a good how they feel about that.
If you walk down that street, which I used to walk, I haven't walked as much as I used to, but I used to walk every night.
Oh yeah, me too.
Like 5-6 miles.
Oh my gosh, that's a hell of a walk.
Well, right down here is historic Oakwood.
Right? Oh,
which is fantastic
for walking. Yeah. Maybe you know what? Sometimes I think about. I'm so sick of walking in the same block. Mm-hmm. I think about just going in my car and just parking at some neighborhood like Oakwood and just walking around there.
Yeah.
I have to take a whiz. I'll go in the bush.
I can.
By your house.
Right, come over here. Yeah. I know all there's how many pee closets there are in Oakwood because of the construction.
Oh,
they're everywhere.
So many pee closets.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Pee in the wild.
Yeah, and plus I have all these great places where I can do that too. I'm a big avid drinker and walker.
Yeah, me too. I'm constantly drinking. It's in and out.
Non-alcoholic.
Yeah. Disclosure,
Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
I knew you had it.
There may be some people that are worried about me.
We're drinking. Future So Bright lemonade.
Make sure this doesn't have any alcohol.
From Asheville, North Carolina.
Is that right?
Wouldn't that be the worst? Because sometimes the ones that are alcoholic look like non-alcoholic, and the non-alcoholic looks like alcoholic drinks.
Yeah.
Gotta be careful of those things.
Yeah, I have a friend of mine left a drink on my night table, and I picked it up and went,
Oh my gosh.
It's like, I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
But, you know, who knows? I don't trust myself. When I looked at it, took it in, and turned the lights on, I was like, oh my golly.
What is it, like
there was
a
alcohol
hard
in it.
seltzer or something?
It was something like that, yeah.
Tricky.
I mean, it
They'll
looked.
get you every time
It
like
could have been
that.
this. Yeah, this could be
Wow.
it. It says Devil's Foot on it. Maybe it's got some devil's dandruff in it.
Devil's dandruff.
Mm-hmm.
Devil's juice. What were we talking about? Oh, yeah.
What were you talking
Talking about walking.
Walking.
Pee-pee closets.
Pee-pee
and,
closets.
You were going to Deadhead, the dead neighborhood.
The Deadhead. They've got so many chickens, and if you're walking anywhere in the neighborhood, you can hear.
Cluck, cluck.
Well, I remember you can hear. I haven't heard as many clucks, but I did hear this piano, and I was like, that piano, that sounds so. And I realized there's that's just the way it is. Ba-da-dum, ba-da-dum, ba-da-dum. Some things will never change.
That song, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's an old time classic, and somehow I recognized that piano, and then I was like, and I figured out that guy's name is Bruce Hornsby, and his band was called. Do you remember? Bruce Hornsby and the Range. And then I was like, yeah, they was from the 80s. And so I was like, huh. He played, and I somehow knew that he'd played piano with the, or organ or whatever, with the Dead. I was like, that's the Deadhead neighborhood. Because you can hear, if you know, I don't know that much about the Dead, but I could probably recognize them. And and I've recognized hearing that just walking around. And there's lots of chickens. Yeah. I have, there's basketball goals that are turned into the street, and you can see where people play. There are like lawn chairs, beach chairs on either side of the street where people just congregate.
Love that.
Yeah.
That's how neighborhoods should
be.
Very
cool, yeah.
Yeah. It's like a real, like, kind of common central gathering area. Like,
yeah.
Takes back the street, right?
Picnic tables, like, right on the front of the lawn.
Oh my God, I love that. I feel like you don't see that around here unless it's like, like right by NC State, like college kids doing it. Maybe there are, but I feel like that's a little more, like families and stuff
it is.
So
yeah, one of the families there has a daughter that I used to teach, and she brought in some pictures of her chicks, and I said, I'll have to bring in some pictures of my chicks.
Yeah, so you're talking about her daughter or her chickens?
Yeah, right. So, yeah, she had little chickens, and I remember at one point I said, I bet you, do you eat a lot of eggs? She was like, oh my God, I got eggs coming out my ears. I drink them. I drink eggs. I eat eggs.
Pee eggs.
I pee eggs. Right.
Can't say that. I'm just kidding.
You poop eggs. Yeah.
I used to also have chickens. That was by NC State actually on Cox Avenue. We had so much fun with that.
Wow.
We lived on Cox.
Right.
So we had Cox on Cox.
Cox on Cox.
Yeah. And we wanted to have a Cox Blocks party.
Cox Blocks.
Yeah. We never got around to that one. Oh, we had so much fun. It was like we were making we wanted to make our own TV show with titles kind of like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Have you ever seen that show?
Oh yeah. We did one of the songs for that. My band covered it.
Oh really? What song?
Superhero for Good Day, Dayman.
Dayman. Nightman.
I love the Nightman.
Man.
Future expert at karate and goodness.
And all
things good.
Something like that. I feel like it's gonna come back to me as soon as we stop singing. Wait. Karate and friendship and everyone.
Right.
Hey, you did that. I love that song.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's genius.
It was actually, I have to give credit to the bass player. He just went into it, and I've been playing long enough that somebody plays a 3 or 4 chord song, I would be like,
You pick it up. And you just, it was like totally spontaneous?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's amazing.
He said, and he looked at me and he started winking at me, and I was like, okay, what does that mean?
What's this wink for?
But everybody started singing along.
Everyone knew the words in the audience?
He either had some plants, or somehow he knew he talked to somebody before the show. Mm-hmm. He knew he could pull this off, and that he would get a good response.
Oh, that's so great.
Yeah. So you're going to do a TV show
Oh yeah.
that's...
Cox Avenue inspired. I have a notebook somewhere. I wrote down all these ideas. But we all went sledding at Dorothea Dick's.
Mm-hmm.
So we had one episode was going to be called Cox Hit Sticks. I mean, of course. How could you not? And we had...
So did you start looking for themes that could be turned into the...
Like the song?
Yeah.
You know, I think... And now I think I'm going, maybe that'll be my next thing. Maybe I'll actually make this freaking TV show.
We're talking to somebody named Richard.
Dick.
Or Dick.
Yeah. We go to the gym and it's Cox Gets Ripped.
Cox Gets... Right.
Yeah. It's like instead of the gang, Cox.
Cox Gets Ripped.
Yeah. Oh, there's so many of them. I can't remember, but now I think after this I'm going to go home and dig out that notebook. Yeah, maybe we'll
hey,
TV show.
Okay, I'll whatever I can do to contribute, I'm here for you.
I might have to cast you as a Cox member.
And I can write theme songs. I've started writing themes. I did. Have you seen the opening for the show that Roger put together with the song? If the weather permits, I go velvet.
Oh my God, that could be like a Storm Snatchers collab.
Yeah.
If it permits.
Right.
I have to go home and watch that too. I haven't seen this.
Yeah. Well, it'll be on. We're having that at the beginning of each episode now. So we actually have an official beginning with a theme song.
That's great. Pound it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I'm so excited to hear that you teach singing and guitar.
Yeah. Bass.
And you teach bass.
Ukulele.
Maybe you can help me figure out if I'm actually playing correctly.
Yeah, so let's do a lesson sometime.
I would love that. And vocal lessons. I really need vocal lessons. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So in my band now, we're kind of semi-defunct. It's called Noah Cross. Our lead singer moved, but...
Noah Cross is the name of the band?
Noah Cross. Noah.
Okay.
Cross.
No. Okay.
And I know it sounds like a Christian band name, doesn't it?
I might have gone there at some point.
But not initially?
Not necessarily,
okay,
no.
Good. It's actually the protagonist from Chinatown. That's what we're named after.
The movie? Or is that a book, too?
The movie, yeah.
Right.
Which I've never seen. Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
Totally like a faux pas.
Who is that? Is that Polanski?
I couldn't tell you. I'm really bad
It's got Jack Nicholson in it.
I do know that. I don't know who plays Noah Cross. But yeah, people think that we're like a Christian band. Some people,
Cool.
like, in their mind, they think they heard Noah's Ark somehow.
Oh, right. So there's
Cross,
a Noah, there's Cross.
But I'm glad your mind didn't go there.
Yeah, but see, so some things that seem more obvious to other people, I'm the last person to pick it up.
Oh, me too.
So
that's why I let us pick this name, and then it was like months later. I was like, oh my God. I mean, I think it's a great sounding name.
Yeah.
It's the connotation.
I like it too.
It sounds cool, right? Noah Cross. Anyway, I do backup vocals in that band, and I may have some issues with pitch, so I would love to work with you.
Yeah. Well, I've got lots of suggestions for that.
Oh, I love that.
You want a free one?
Is the first one free?
I can just think about this next time you're singing, and you're trying to. Usually, you're flat. You know what I mean? Like by flat, the lower than the actual pitch.
I am flat.
Getting your note completely intonated. It means right on that note. So when somebody else is singing, the notes have the magnetic force that makes them harmonize. It's almost like you were talking about with the. If you're hitting that pitch, raise your eyebrows just a little bit, and it somehow that almost gets it.
Okay.
Right there.
I will say I would definitely think of that. One other thing that someone told me was pretend like you're taking chopsticks and like pretend like you're inserting, and it's kind of like crazy sounding. Put chopsticks in your nostrils, not real but fake, to open up this area here.
The mask.
The mask.
You want to get the mask. Yeah, that's your resonance chamber.
Your resonance chamber. Yes, I think that's what she called it. To kind of like just, it almost is like tunes your vocal instrument just a little bit so you can...
You want to get all this like in on the note.
In on the note. Because she said that usually we can hear the note in our heads, we just don't produce it
Mm-hmm.
properly. But I'm gonna try the eyebrow thing.
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna try
Next
that.
time you hit a pitch and you're kind of just, and the more that you,
Do it.
what's the right word for this? The easiest thing to say is that the more you do it, the better. But if you incorporate this technique, even if it's not something that's like a super fix, it will start to become that, because it's like a mannerism that you've decided that you've assigned to be the thing that you're doing to help you do that. And the more you practice something, if you're falling off, then you're like, oh, I got this, and somehow psychologically that you'll have that extra like little tool.
It's like
bizarre.
Yeah, it is bizarre. I mean, but it makes sense. It's kind of like it becomes almost second nature, and then like you do it so much that you don't even think about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I know sometimes at first when you try to do something new and you think about it, it can almost be a little distracting. But once you get used to it, it's like a little cheat.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna try that. I will say, when I took vocal lessons in middle school, I feel like I was doing this, and my teacher told me to actually put my eyebrows down and she said beam through the cheeks. But I remember I was like, what the hell does that mean?
Well, I mean, I could see there would be things that have to do, again, with the mask.
Cheeks.
And I mean, hitting notes, sometimes people will talk about notes coming out of the top of your head.
Oh, yeah.
Some
She did
here
say
and
that.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just like lifting up. You need to lift up.
Mm-hmm.
Because flat is where it's at.
Yeah.
And it's not where it's at, but that's where it always lands.
You know Courtney Love?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
I miss world.
She does the dip song or slur?
She starts singing. I don't like that word. You have to tell me what it means.
Slides. She slides up.
Oh, okay. Yeah. She like, it's like, if you could just wait, turn it off, and then turn it on at that last minute, then you'd be on the note rather than hearing us. Like the whole crowd has to wait for you. Here you find it. There's the note.
Oh my gosh, that's what I do, I think. Not so dramatic.
It's.
I get back up from the mic. And
it's kind of her thing,
but it is her jam.
I think that she figured out that was one of her mannerisms. Like, and if you're a rock singer, you want to have certain things that make you distinctive, you know.
And it does, the way she does it, it does sound rock and roll.
Yeah, it makes her sound like, you know, this kind of. She's supposed to be this sort of damaged, you know, junkie kind of. Like,
yeah.
So.
It has that kind of gravelly quality when she does that in her voice.
I mean, imagine if she came out with her whole look and her hair on and her lipstick this way and like that, and came out. Went, you'd be like, nope, that doesn't really work.
That'd be a great parody.
Right. I actually used Drunk Girl, which was an SNL skit, and combined that with Courtney Love, because my band did Hole for the Great Cover-Up one year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I love the Great Cover-Up. What year was that? I don't think I saw it. I think I would have remembered that one.
It might have been 09, 10.
That was before Raleigh for me.
Yeah.
I did the Pixies one year.
Oh, wow.
That was not too long ago. Did you go to
I missed that one. I would have loved to have seen that. When was it?
That was maybe 2017 or something. And then 2020 I did Avril Lavigne.
Oh, wow.
I was the guitar player.
Oh, nice.
It was very fun. Yeah.
Anvil Laverne.
Yeah, Anvil Laverne. Went out with a bang. And I think that would be possibly the last one.
Right.
But I didn't choose. But it was still very fun.
Yeah. So what did you do? Play bass or guitar?
I played guitar for that. Oh, that was so fun. Because I haven't played like guitar like that in years. Like in high school, I was in punk bands, and it was so fun.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, so fun. It was the best. So and you know, she's like kind of pop punk, you know.
Right. I learned.
Yeah.
Probably. I was watching the video where she's spinning, and they all go to the mall, and she does like flips in the air and dunks the basketball.
Is that Skater Boy or something? Like a music video?
Yeah. It was for whatever song.
What is that one? I don't remember the video.
I learned it for a friend I was playing with, John.
Why is it gotta be so complicated?
Yeah, right.
The hit where she's like hanging out in the car. Yeah.
That's so complicated. Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully there'll be a
That's a poppy little jam, man.
It is a poppy little jam, and hopefully the cover up will happen again someday, in some capacity.
Yeah. Did they make any announcement that they weren't going to be doing it anymore, or?
Well, I think since King's is kind of defunct.
Oh, that's right. It is closed.
But they had a couple day shows for Hopscotch, so I'm not sure what that means.
Well, I hope they find a way, man.
Me too. That was like the best.
I love King's. Yeah, and that Hopscotch, that was almost like their crown jewel.
Yeah.
Damn, I'm on fire today.
That was great. But was it Hopscotch or was it Cover Up that was their crown jewel?
The great cover up.
The Cover Up, yeah. Yeah, definitely. So hopefully they'll have, maybe they can open once a year for that. If you're listening out there, Kings, you got 2 people that are going to come at least.
Yeah, and you can sponsor us.
Yeah.
Talk to Paul. I was going to,
Yeah.
I guess he's not very much of a texter or this or that. Maybe I shouldn't be talking about him in such a public forum, like making it seem like that guy doesn't text. Maybe,
I heard he texts great.
Maybe he just doesn't, he just doesn't text me.
He texts me all the time. Oh,
right.
It's just you.
He's been really nice. He's been really, really helpful. I mean,
Over the years.
Yeah. Hey. So I was thinking about maybe you guys could do like your Elton John thing again. We did Elton John for a great cover
did
up.
You? Oh, I can totally see that.
And he was like, we need to find out like a good Saturday, and then, I guess I could find that out right now. He did this, and then he's like, maybe like close to Elton John's birthday or something. And I was like, yeah, I know when that is. Wait. I guess I could find that out right now.
Was it even during the cover up, his birthday?
No, but we did it for the cover up.
And, you did another
and he liked it, and he said, "Well, you guys could come back and do another gig."
Oh yeah, he did do that for a couple of the bands.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I saw the Pearl Jam one like afterwards.
Oh wow!
What did you do for Elton John? Were you Elton John?
I know, but this other guy was so good at it. I was only slightly jealous. Elton John is my hero as a kid.
I could see that.
I have like 80 pairs of sunglasses, you know.
Elton John style.
Yeah, but I did get to sing backups, you know, on Yellow Brick Road, which was my like. I think that's like the first thing that I'd ever heard that just made me go like, oh my god, music is so amazing.
That was I think that was maybe Spin Doctors for me.
Oh,
That's embarrassing.
I wouldn't have said that, Sue, but I did mention Tom Cruise. So we're letting it all hang out these days.
I'm letting it hang out. I always let it all hang out.
Good.
That's Storm Snatchers' way.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, but also, what was the other one?
They had soul.
What? Spin Doctors?
That guy was kind of cute. He kind of reminded me of the singer for the Black Crowes. He had a lot of, like he could move, you know.
Two Princes.
Nice hips.
That song. Yeah, he has some nice hips.
Yeah.
I can remember. I mean, I was like, first grade, but
All right.
I don't know if I was looking at his hips, but
Maybe you were.
Maybe I was. I mean, he was a good-looking guy.
Yeah.
I mean, they had that picture of them on the cassette tape, so I remember his face quite vividly.
Yeah, had like a cool little beard. He's like it's kind of hippie, kind of.
Yeah, I can see that. Now I'm kind of getting like, I need to go Google it. Now I can't really remember the hippie.
I guess I could find that out right now.
Take a little search Rooney.
Well, what else do you want to tell me? Are you? You said that you know what you said. Oh, let's do some questions. You said you didn't want to talk for that long, and we've been talking for a little bit, haven't we?
I thought that was going to happen. If the pressure's off, if this is going to be a short one, then I think it can go longer.
Right.
But if I think it's going to be long, I'm like, oh my god, how am I going to fill the time?
Right.
And then I would freak out.
Well, I told you, we just sit here like, I remember Ocean came over and we were talking on the couch out there on the front porch, and Roger was like, why don't we just take this inside? I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you could. Oh, I guess you don't have the lights out there, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's so nice weather right now. You could even do an episode out on the porch.
Maybe we should. Yeah, maybe we could do something out there.
Do a porch episode.
I've got a deck too.
Oh yeah, so I was going to say, I feel like you could do an urban nature show, because that clip that you had on Instagram, you were going out into nature and you're
Oh,
gonna
right, right.
die.
Mhm.
You're gonna go get the tomatoes. So, do you have a garden, or are you going to the community garden?
It was right over here in the corner of this house. There's like a little place that's almost like perfectly cut out. It's like a cement like ridge that goes from this hill going down to the grassy driveway. And I just I have a friend, June. Oh, Junebug. Junebug I met through my friend Renee. Yeah. And he's got like green toes. He's so good at, gardening and stuff. And,
green toes.
And he gave me 4 tomato plants, and I put them in there, and they were just, stalks, and then all of a sudden I ended up getting more than that. I should have like continued with my my nature.
Yeah.
Urban, what did you call it?
I don't know, urban nature, urban naturalist.
The urban naturalist.
Urban naturalist. And it's like, I love that you're just like, oh my God, I might die. Like, everyone thought this couldn't happen. Here I am.
Right. They said it couldn't be done.
Couldn't be done.
Them peoples was fools. Yeah.
Tomatoes.
Yeah. I had some. And I got more than that. I ended up probably growing about less than 10. But they were all about this big. And I don't know what because those were all different plants.
Yeah,
so
different varieties. You know what they were.
I don't know how big a plant has to be to hold a tomato this big, but none of those got to be that big. But I didn't plant them until like late June, early July.
I got a late start too. How tall are they? Like
maybe as tall as where this microphone is to the ground.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then they turned red at that size?
I never saw one red. I saw one, they were green, and they were really pretty, very promising. I was kind of a little, like, urban nature excited.
Yeah, urban nature excited.
And then it was, like, really almost like a maroon. And I don't know, because I went back over to Junebug's when I was walking one day, and he had all different varieties.
That's
so
cool.
it might have been the color it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
But,
maroon?
Yeah.
Oh, like
and they might have even been like supposed to be that small too. What does that sound like?
That almost sounds like black cherry tomatoes. 'Cause I have those.
Oh, yeah?
They're the best. Like, they're bigger than regular cherry tomatoes. But maybe a little smaller than you described. Like maybe about.
Yeah. Are they round?
Yes.
Okay, these
Like
were more
very
like gourd shaped. Like since this is velvet, like more like almost like an alien head.
Oh, I have seen those before. Wow.
It has this little extra bit on it.
Might be called like a sundew or sundrop tomato or something. That sounds yummy. So I have way too many tomatoes. I have just given up. I just let them go. So if I get around to harvesting them, you want some tomatoes.
Yes.
I should have brought them today, but I didn't have time. Clearly, I was late. But maybe next time we can bring some maters.
Bring them on over. Yeah. Yeah, I could make anything.
You just eat them raw.
Yeah, I eat tomatoes raw. I eat the cherries.
Snack.
I just pop them.
And they bust in your mouth.
Right? I always wanted to make. Yeah, they explode.
Yeah. So there you go.
Sometimes they shoot out of your mouth.
Sometimes they do. Sometimes the seeds just shoot out.
Yes, too much of it's coming out of your mouth.
Yeah, they go everywhere.
But yeah, I just wanted to make like fresh, like super fresh salsa.
Oh yeah.
You ever done that?
No, maybe I should do that with my tomatoes. 'Cause I have so many.
Do it.
I'm so lazy.
You got it. I made salsa one time, and it was kept tasting it.
Yeah.
I ended up adding a lot more limes than I thought I would.
Did you add too many, or did it just needed that many?
No, I added more limes than I thought I would. Than I thought I would have to get it to where it was right. But yeah.
Limes. And then pepper, onions.
Yeah, I got the right amount of heat.
Yeah.
But it just didn't have that, you gotta have the tart, tangy.
Yeah, tart.
And then enough salt is kind of the other thing.
You have to add sugar.
I didn't do that, but that sounds like it would work.
Yeah, the ones at the store that are really good. I'm like, why is this so good? And I'll check the back, the nutritional information, and it always says sugar. I'm like, that's why. Because I'm like a sugar addict.
Right. I don't know if I put
sugar. It's too
sugar.
good. It's got sugar in it usually.
Wow.
But you should totally do a urban nature show.
Urban naturalist.
Yeah, urban naturalist.
I could come up with a cool outfit for that. As long as it involves an outfit, I'm there.
As long as it involves, totally, yeah. outfit all the way. I mean, I'm sure you have something. If not, I mean, that thrift store we talked about off of
Right.
Western.
Some cool pith helmet.
Yeah, I mean, are there any thrift stores around here anymore?
There's a place actually that's pretty close. I don't know if it would be thrift. It's more of like a vintage. The boot. What's it called, Renee? Did Renee come in?
Yeah.
I guess she's probably somewhere. She may be taking a nap.
It's already dark. It's dark so early.
Yeah.
Ugh, I don't like it.
It's right on the corner. If you're out here on Wake Forest, it's something trunk or something. Yeah, something trunk.
Something trunk.
Yeah, there's the Shell station, and then there's an upholstery shop,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's right on the corner of that row of stores that's down there. It's on the corner of, for all you, maybe we'll get them to sponsor us. Wake Forest, a road, and you know where Wake Forest kind of goes, and if you keep going straight, it turns into Capitol, and then this way
Oh,
it goes into
is it Atlantic?
Atlantic.
Okay.
It's right here. No, it's before that. It's
Oh.
Brookside. So there's Brookside and Wake Forest.
Okay.
There's a sign that says Mordecai. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes. I think so. Wait, is there like an overpass near there?
Yeah, the
That's
overpass is if you go to the left, it goes on Atlantic.
Is there a Circus Burger? Am I making that up?
Yeah, there was the
Okay.
circus. It closed down.
God, like everything. Oh, I'm so sick of this.
I never-
Everything's closing.
I think I ate there one time, but it was so nice. It's such a colorful look. It just looks
Oh, yeah.
cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Plus-
It's kind of like Beef Burger in Greensboro. Remember that one? On Lee Street?
Oh, I knew Lee Street. I mean, I probably ended up there. I drank a lot. back
Yeah, I
when
mean, it
was
was
in
definitely a
Greensboro.
late night stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that near like Spring Garden and
Yes.
Acock maybe?
Not it was close to there, but it was by like Spring Garden, between Spring Garden and Lee and like Fulton. There's a tiny little street.
Oh
there.
yeah, okay, I know that. That's
And you
where
remember
my
that?
stepmom.
I was going to ask you that mill or factory in the corner of Fulton and Lee Street. Do you remember seeing that? Now it's gone. It's like apartments.
It was probably Cone Mills.
So it wasn't Cone Mills.
Okay.
Something else.
Well,
We're talking about urban exploring. I was going to ask you. Ever been in there?
no, I know I never went in there. I might have gone to a rave there, but not from that entrance. I don't know. There were a lot of raves in Greensboro when I was in
Really?
there. Yeah.
That was before my time. Wow.
There's a lot of just warehouses covered in confetti and, black lights, strobe lights,
God, I wish I'd seen it.
ecstasy.
Oh yeah, all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure. Trying to think, was this all kind of near downtown and UNCG, or it's kind of like on the outskirts of Greensboro?
No. It was in the. Well, I had a friend who owned Burley Hayes, who owned Somewhere Else Tavern.
Mm-hmm.
And have you heard of that place?
Oh yeah, I used to go to shows there. Yeah.
Okay. He also owned lots of property. In fact, he had a thrift store at one point that was on Lee Street. What is it? Is it called Lee Street now, or is it called Gateway?
I think it's called Gateway. It's called Gateway Drug Boulevard.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. It's Gate City, I think.
Okay.
Boulevard or something.
Right. Okay. Yes, because he had one that was right there and on Gateway and Tate Street.
Tate Street.
Mm-hmm. There's a little shop that's on the corner. It's almost like a head shop, but it was next to that.
Okay.
But anyway, my point is he had lots of different properties, and he would always say, "You guys, there's a rave tonight after the show," because we'd be playing there, because that was the only club we played
It's
at.
somewhere else. Yeah.
In Greensboro.
Do you remember Ace's Basement? Underneath Ace's Basement? They had,
Ace Hard. Where was it?
It was like this kind of sketchy hotel off of Lee Street, formerly known as.
Uh-huh.
And you'd go like down the stairs. I feel like there was a diner near there too. It was a diner and a hotel. And you'd go down the stairs, and there was kind of a basement. It was a basement. They called it Ace's Basement.
Huh.
And they had shows there. This was like, I went like
What year?
2003. So
Yeah,
I
a
guess
lot.
that was
Yeah, I was in
way later.
Nashville. Yeah, I was in Tennessee at that time.
That was AE after Elliot.
Right, AE.
AE. And then BS for Sue.
Right.
So I was going to ask one question. What is your... What that has been taken down in Raleigh that you miss the most? What do you miss the most that has been either is vacant or has been just torn down?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's definitely been happening more and more lately.
Yeah.
Or that has just closed down.
Well, King's definitely. I would have to say King's.
Yeah, that's one of mine.
Yeah.
Remember, like, Sadlax?
Oh, right. Sadlax was
Sadlax.
fantastic. Yeah. I performed Kashmir with some people there. I couldn't believe how good it sounded.
Outside?
Yeah, outside right on the deck where, you know, Ludi Kane. She used to be in so many bands, and she always, like, almost every time I go to Sadlax, she'd be out there in some band playing bass or drums or something. But yeah, I remember performing that. I found this apple that was this big at the Fresh Market, and I was like, I'm going to sing Kashmir with this apple in my hand. For some reason, that just looked like the perfect Robert Plant, because Robert Plant's always like this, you know, but with an apple.
Wait, so you sang with it
Uh-huh.
in your hand? You were playing an instrument too, right?
I was just singing.
Oh.
Oh, let the sun beat down upon my face.
Outside of Sadlax. That's great.
With an apple.
I love that place because you could just like walk down the street and see a show going on outside.
Right, and it's all there, and it's, you know, everybody's welcome. Yeah.
Oh, and another thing, I remember you mentioned in one of the interviews that you used to live at Ruby Red. Do you remember Prisma Video? It was right next door to Ruby Red.
Was that with
Oh.
Where's my stomach? Hello.
Hi there.
Let's do Miles.
Yeah, Miles. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I missed that place. That place was awesome.
Well, they did have the movie night there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they actually kind of screwed us up at one point.
Really?
Well, here's what happened.
Oh, I think I know what you're maybe gonna say.
They had a after party, hopscotch after party, and if they had parties there, it was loud. You could hear it down the street. And apparently some of the club owners, either Black Flower or at what's the place, Southland
Ballroom?
Southland Ballroom,
Southland.
they were angry at the fact that we had all these people, we were stealing their business, we weren't legitimate, la 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 la. And they were talking about this place down West Street, and it wasn't us. We had parties in the basement
I remember
at Ruby Red. Yeah, fun times,
Yeah.
right? With the nickel operated the vending machine that you could get PBR out of.
Oh my god, I don't remember that.
Yeah.
I came to a party. I actually fell asleep on the couch in the middle of a dance party there.
Was that in the main audience chamber, or was it? Because there was a couch right outside where I lived. It was in the West Wing.
Or maybe it was there. Yeah, I just was so tired and drunk. I just passed out.
Was there a television playing Fantastic Planet on it? There was a 24-hour movie that just played
really?
the whole time. Yeah.
I feel like, was there a couch like in the main like dance party area?
Yeah,
I feel like it was actually like in the main dance
yeah.
party
There were
area.
several over actually
It
in the
was
corner.
like I would
Yeah.
never do that these days. I don't know how in the world I slept through that, but anyway.
Yeah,
So-
that was fun. I'd be walking around like with a toothbrush. What were you gonna ask me?
Oh no, I was just to say what were we gonna say about what happened with Prisma?
Oh, so what happened was that they had they got some noise complaints. When we had parties at Ruby Red, it was like, you know, really far back from the road, really low. I mean, you got in the driveway and it went,
Yeah.
and the basement was even lower, so it was like below ground. So you really couldn't hear
Couldn't
anything.
hear.
We never disturbed the peace, so to speak. But the fire marshal, instead of going to Prisma Video, went to Ruby Red and came in and said, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this. And so we got called out and we had to do this whole thing with smoke alarms everywhere. I had to take the walls and like lower them because you couldn't have separate rooms in this area. They had to be, this was too many square foots for this many, this and that. So if you cut off the top of the thing, and Tim did all this stuff, that was Tim Lemuel's baby. He found all these ways around it, and he put up with each and everything. And there were so many different like eras of that place, and I got there within a year of it opening, if not like within the first couple months. And I lived there which wasn't,
allowed.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's an artist warehouse.
Right.
That's what you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they finally came to. There was some fires out in L.A. or maybe San Francisco.
Yeah, there was like that that DIY space that had like a fire and a bunch of people died.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember when that happened, it was like a lot of places got shut down.
Right.
Is that why your Ruby Red shut down?
Yeah, they asked him. They said, "Well, have you heard about this place like that? Is your place anything like that?" And he was like,
Yeah.
"Well, to be honest with you, that's where I got the idea. I wanted to make a place in Raleigh that was like this place is out in San Francisco, so artists would have a place that they didn't have to pay an arm and a leg for. People could rehearse. You got all these artists that enrich the culture of our city, but you don't provide them with places to
live,
get their or at least rehearse.
Yeah. It was supposed to be a rehearsal space, but then they also didn't have a place to actually sleep sometimes.
I mean, yeah.
I was gonna say there was one in Greensboro called Elsewhere.
Hmm.
Oh, you would love that. I mean, it's
I bet.
Reminds me of your house. It's a museum of just like. It was supposed to be a thrift store, and it was originally, and then it was like an old lady ran it, and she didn't want to sell anything. I guess maybe she was senile. People would like.
Where was this at?
It was on that main road downtown.
Yeah.
What was that? It's by Two Art Chicks, Elm Street.
Elm Street, yeah.
It was Elm Street.
Well, did she have like part of her jaw missing?
I never saw a picture of her. But she was this guy George's grandmother.
Yeah. I'm
Like
pretty sure that was her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you heard about that?
I knew about her because I
Yeah.
used to buy stuff for her. She was so nice to me. She really liked me, and nobody else. She like I would go in there with friends, and they'd be like, "I hate that lady," and she would call me. She'd go, "Oh," because she couldn't talk. She was self-conscious about the fact that her
Jaw
mouth was
missing?
messed up. Yeah.
And she wouldn't sell stuff to like most people.
She was like kind of like sort of
That probably was it. Was it like 3 stories tall?
The place was, but the downstairs was the only place that I went into.
Okay.
But there might have been art spaces above that.
Yep, that probably was the same spot. And so it was a thrift store at that time, but then when she died, it turned into kind of like a collaborative, like art object museum or something. So it's like all stuff. It was left exactly how it was. And then of course they made some like places for people to sleep in there so they could.
Oh. Yeah, I think I remember. Yeah, well, I know I remember hearing about something that had to do with that with a friend of mine that was one of my stepmother's friends' sons. Jonathan, somebody who's a was. I can't think of his name right now.
Sons, brothers, sisters, moms, daughter.
There's some relationship there.
But anyway, that place is really cool. So maybe someday I have to go check that out again.
Yeah. Well, downtown, when I moved back to North Carolina and I went to Greensboro and Lee Street, I was really impressed with a lot of the stuff that was, there's some cool thrift vintage places on that strip now.
Yeah. Haven't been back in forever. I'm going to go back for First and Flake Fest coming up, so I'll have to go pay my respects. Some of the old haunts.
Can we put a pause? I need to use the pee closet.
Right before it got expensive by Lake Johnson.
How did you do that?
It was summer of 2020.
That was sheer luck.
It was sheer luck, and yeah, it was crazy. I can't believe we did that. Like, there's no way in hell we could afford that house now. So, and my partner has a little bit more money than I do.
Oh, that's
I mean,
good.
coffee shop money couldn't have bought that house. Off the record.
I wish that I had bought a house over in, what is it? I always forget.
Like
around Mill Burney.
Oh,
they were
yeah.
like 60 and 70,000 when I first got here.
Oh,
and it would have just been mine, an investment. But then I was like, how would I get it fixed up? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, at the time.
But
now,
it doesn't matter because
that's the price of a house. To
Yeah,
fix it up would have been
because
cheaper than buying a house.
It would, because I would have had that lot, that house. But I know a lot of people that thought that.
Yeah, that neighborhood
And then
too.
I would have. I was also going, damn. Then the mortgage would be like $700 or more a month, and I don't know.
It-
I wish I'd done
It sounded like a lot at the time, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And now it's like, dude, that's fucking dirt cheap.
Yeah.
I know. My mom almost bought a house in frickin' Boylan, like, over 10 years ago.
Yeah.
It was like kind of like a dilapidated house. It was like right there, like facing Dorothea Dix. I was like, damn, Mom. Ugh.
Yeah, I know.
It was cheap at the time, ish, you know. And maybe it was like 15 years ago or something. I'm like, God.
There are even some houses that, like, turning whatever that street is. I guess that street goes to speaking of Ruby and where Wicked Witch and
Night
Night
Rider?
Rider is. Yeah, there's that
East
that part
something?
right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah, yeah.
it's South Street.
Oh, yes,
that
South
goes
Street.
into what is it called? Is that were you talking about Boylan Heights or?
Yeah, but it's the same area. But you're talking about
Yeah.
so like in Boylan, I'm talking about the right side. You're talking about the left side.
The left
towards
side.
downtown.
Yeah, and those.
There is some stuff over there.
Right. And some of those were like, you know, I knew some people that were like new in the AA. So these are people that are like, you know, kind of hard times that are just trying to get their act back together. So those places must have been really inexpensive.
And they bought the house there.
No, that they were just
They
staying
rented?
there. But I was thinking about those houses and how, you know, if you could have bought them at that same
Oh my
time
God!
period,
Yeah.
then they would be 5 times, 6 times as much as they
I
would
know.
cost.
Isn't that
you know?
insane?
Yeah.
Ooh, we missed the boat, man.
Yeah, it was
I know.
almost
Everybody
too obvious.
says that now.
I mean, and I still feel like I semi missed the boat because I always wanted to live. Now we can't really bike downtown. I wanted to live, you know, a little closer, but whatever, it's fine.
Kind of.
We can't. That's it.
Yeah.
We can kind of. We can if we want to, like, you know, bike for like 45 minutes to an hour, and
Right.
sometimes we do. Or we get an electric bike, and then it'll be totally doable. Yeah, that's it. I kind of can.
I
Yeah.
bought my brother an e-bike for his retirement,
Nice.
and they're nice.
They're
But I
awesome.
don't ride it, but he does.
Yeah.
Isn't that cheating?
Huh?
Yeah. a
Well,
little.
okay, the way he was
Like-
talking about
John,
was
it's
like
totally cheating.
you're riding with assist, but
Assist.
because you're riding with assist, you can ride longer.
That's true. And you don't
And
show
so
off
you burn
sweaty.
more energy that way. That might be a rationalization, but I don't know.
But no, I do think it's time saving, and you don't show up sweaty, and so you can still, if it's a matter of,
Yeah, I can
What?
see that. If you're trying, because I mean, you're still not driving a car.
right,
and,
so you're
you
still
know.
not driving a car.
I used to hassle him and say, why don't you just buy a moped?
Right.
Yeah. But I guess it is nice when you can go between the assist and the throttle, because John's has both. Does his have both?
Yeah.
They can just pedal.
But
and
how,
pedal.
it makes me nervous how fast they go. I feel
Yes.
very unprotected.
Yes.
Mm.
There's settings on, I know the one we have, where you can like set it to cap out at a low speed. I don't know if his is like that. But yeah, it can go really fast if you want it to. And that makes me nervous too. Definitely wear a helmet and all the lights and stuff. I'm fucking get a copter out.
Yeah, I don't know what I think of them really, because I always feel like I have to put in maximum effort on a bike.
I know, because I do it for exercise in part. Do you? Or do you-
I haven't done it in a while. I've been walking.
Okay. Walking's the new biking.
Walking's the new
That's what my friend said in college. I'll never forget it.
I've seen that on a bumper sticker.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
It
which
should
is
be a
funny
bumper
because
sticker.
it's on a car.
I want to start biking there again because it's getting cool.
Yep, it's biking season.
Yeah.
Totally biking. It's festival season, it's biking season. It's all the season. It's outdoor movie season.
I want a bumper sticker that says "Driving is the new biking."
Oh my god.
That would
That'd just be like
That's
so
hilarious.
That would
so
be a good
wrong.
one.
It's
Like,
ironic as hell. I love it.
yeah.
I love to yell at my friends whenever I'm driving by and they're biking. I'll yell, "Get a car, you hippies!"
Yeah,
That's the best. Oh yeah. I don't know who it came from.
it's a
I
gift.
was gonna ask, you made a freaking lighter?
Roger made her lighter.
Lighter!
That's very
This is
clever.
awesome. All right, I'm gonna keep it at home. I'm never gonna bring it with me. I cannot lose this. This is a great lighter. This is the one where you interviewed yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Ah.
Yeah. That which means twice the outfits.
Oh my god. Twice the fun or twice?
Twice the fun. If you think I could get to wear just
Two
twice as much
outfits.
clothes, I mean that's a big plus for
I'm
me.
sorry, I didn't dress very fabulous. I wore like yoga clothes everywhere.
You look
Where
great.
do you
Thank you.
work at?
I actually work from home now.
Uh-huh.
Right? Like everyone. I started teaching ESL online.
We need to talk.
Oh, do you teach ESL?
I'm certified in it, but I'm learning Spanish, which is not really a prerequisite for that, but just I'm trying to get more language oriented.
I think that.
I'm an English teacher. I'm a reading teacher.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I flunked out of my ESL curriculum because I didn't take it seriously. I was partying then.
Yeah.
And then I didn't go back in. I went into reading, which is really boring. It's like being a librarian.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can see that. I can totally see that.
Yeah.
I think it would be kind of cool if we could like set up a little place so you could sit Indian style like that.
Yeah.
On this pillow over here, and you could sit and like every once in a while it would like there could be back and forth instead of it, because that way you would be more.
Oh yeah, is it wrong?
Featured? No, there are no rules on this show.
No rules.
Wait, no, we should
think about that.
If you want to be like
online. Yeah.
Well, I was gonna yell something from the living room about something you said.
Yeah, I was asking you a question about. I forgot what it was now.
And it wasn't there?
Yeah, I think you'd gone out.
Oh.
Maybe that's when you went to get your textbook.
What did you ask me?
I can't remember. It was something that we had a conversation about. Yeah.
Oh!
Do you remember? Because I said, Renee, la 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 la, and you were like, what? Do you have an imaginary friend that actually answers questions for you, Elliot? Because
it was like the guy in Jimmy Fallon has a guy he asks on the side.
Right.
Yeah, and sometimes they don't show him. Yeah. But I was going to yell that I dug the garden. Junebug might have given you tomatoes, but I dug it out.
You dug it out.
Bushwhacking.
You were the you are the behind the scenes on this.
Did you dig?
Naturalist.
Did you have to dig in that to get the?
You remember I cut the trees down and everything.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I cut the trees.
Well, they're little trees.
Tree is an exaggeration for this.
But I got
stalks. They were stalks.
This is your show. This is your nature show right here.
Right.
You fight over who played
all right.
Do
you have a pith helmet?
Remember my Japanese knife?
Oh, wow.
That's out on the porch. It's
oh right. No. Yeah. Okay. I remember because of course the tools are still scattered across the front porch.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
You have your whole.
This is the show right here.
Right.
Okay.
This is it.
All right.
This is the urban naturalists.
The urban naturalists.
I heard you mention that.
The urban nature show. I don't know something.
Well, we could have filmed an episode at the waterfall.
The waterfall.
Yeah, we went to a waterfall.
Mm-hmm. Where?
Morganton.
Oh,
have you been there?
It's Upper Creek Falls.
No. That's towards the mountains, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the coldest waterfall in North Carolina.
Really?
That's what I think.
It was exhilarating.
And I was kind of swimming in a bunch of them.
That does sound amazing. Ooh, I'm gonna go before it gets cold. There's one place I've been to towards the mountains called Shatley Springs. The name is so funny.
Shatley Springs.
Yes.
And you swim in that, huh?
Yeah, I don't think you swim in it. It's actually it's supposed to be like the purest, most like healing water you can get. It's from a spring, and I think you
can get that in my pee-pee closet.
That's what I did.
Right. Have some Shatley spring water.
Shatley Springs. It's almost to the Virginia border in northwest.
I don't go up there too much, but
I never go.
There's
nowhere.
a park up there that I really love. Oh, that's also where the wild horses are.
Oh.
In Virginia, there's a park, Grayson Park.
Grayson?
That I've been wanting to go to, and there you can see baby horses, baby wild horses.
I need to go
in the spring, and then in the fall they're probably not being born, but there's wild horses running around that park.
And northwest, and this is not northeast, it's to the northwest? Towards the mountain?
No, all I know is it's Grayson Park.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go there. Grayson and Morganton.
Yeah, Morganton was cool. It's like they had like a neat little. You could see the downtowns becoming.
Oh, like up and coming.
Yeah.
But we agreed that.
That's awesome.
That if they wanted to be up and coming, that they should be open on Sundays.
Right. Yeah.
Yes, they need to be progressive.
They had a box, the hot box. Is that what it was called?
Hot box vintage.
Hot box vintage. It looked really neat. It was really small. Vintage.
Hot box spinach.
Hot spot. Yeah. Right. That's what I'm having for dinner.
Yeah, that'd be your show name.
Hot box vintage spinach.
Spinach. Hot box vintage
Spinach. Vintage. Yeah, it wasn't open though. It wasn't open on Sunday. It's like, how are people going to appreciate a place like this unless they live there? Maybe that they're just trying to keep the people from.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've been
Keep
thinking
the
about
riffraff
that. I've been
The
thinking
non-Christians
about
out. Maybe that's it.
Possibly.
Yeah.
This place looked kind of cool though.
It was.
The town, or are we talking about
the spinach place?
the spinach place?
Yeah.
They had lots of good spinach.
They
It had
they
a
did
macrame owl on the
disco
wall.
spinach
Ooh.
shirts.
Oh my god.
Yeah, they did have a lot of macrame.
Oh, I was gonna. Have you ever
Owls.
heard of you ever been to Salisbury?
Um,
That's also kind of.
it's south of Greensboro, right?
Yeah. They had this bookstore called Rainy Day Used Books. It was from way back in like 2000, early 2000s. I don't know. I was gonna ask if you, because I know you lived out there.
Yeah.
Anyway, we played shows out there, and they would have these shows in this used bookstore in Salisbury. It would go till like 4 and 5 in the morning.
Yeah.
It would end with like a jug band, and by the end we were all playing with the jug band.
Oh wow.
And it was a
yeah.
time.
That sounds amazing.
It was so. It's I think it's gone now. And
oh my god, that
they
sounds
actually-
fun.
they had a dumpster out back, like a long open dumpster, and there was a wall. It was the only time I actually literally saw someone dumpster dive. They ran like a diving board. Yeah, there was always like, there's actually soft stuff in there. I guess the store had been throwing away like, I don't know, pillows or some shit. Yeah, and the guy ran and he sailed like he was doing a dive into the dumpster. It was like a real dumpster dive.
That was literally diving.
Yeah.
Wow, did he like check it out before he did that? Because that
No,
could
I
have
don't think-
ended. All it
very
would
bad.
take would be one,
One
you know,
Big
whatever.
piece of
Yeah,
glass.
I hope maybe he did. Not in front of me.
Wow.
They could have been very dangerous, but also it was
I'm sure it
very
was.
fun.
Yeah, spectacular.
It's spectacular. It's amazing. Yeah.
It was like Evil Knievel.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Of the dumpster.
So I was looking at this this post with just going back in time. This was November 12th, 2019.
Okay, that's the heyday year.
It was that the heyday of Storm Snatchers?
Mm-hmm.
And I just took a picture of myself and put, this hat, Pippi Longstocking, my fave for mid-afternoon Arctic blasts. And then,
Mid-afternoon Arctic blast.
yeah, and you put, your freaking set ain't nothing gonna penetrate that. And then I put, thanks for keeping me informed when the temp gonna slide. Oh yeah, because you said that.
Something like a slide.
Right, right. Did you use that a lot? And you're like, but then the temperature's gonna slide.
See, I didn't. I think it was a one-time thing. I didn't repeat stuff a lot. That's why I'm like, I ran out of new material. I think
Right.
I don't know. I'm sure there's always new material to be had. But that was like for the Arctic blast. I wanted to kind of use like what is that? Alliteration, onomatopoeia, whatever. Onomatopoeia, I think. We do the sound of the temperature slide.
Right, yeah.
that
Like
sounds
dipping,
like it.
onomatopoeia.
Yeah.
That's a little bit of that.
Program music is what they, in classical, they would have, I think if you were saying, on high. Yeah.
Program music.
Right. Yeah, that's how they would
That was my
describe
program
that.
music.
Yeah.
The Storm Snatchers. Oh yeah, so you were gonna ask me kind of like how, like it really got started.
Yeah, how
Can you
did it
talk about a
start?
little bit?
How long did it last? We know that it was happening in November and 2019. Did it just...
I think it started September of 2019, which is
Okay.
not that long before that. Well, okay, back up. I've always been into the weather or whatever. And I always was known as a person that would check the weather and get excited about it.
When you were a kid, were you that your favorite superhero was Weather Girl or Weather Woman or Weather Woman?
I'm trying to think. My favorite one was probably honestly like a Pegasus My Little Pony,
Okay.
which is not even a superhero. I was really into superheroes, but
But My Little Pony, maybe I'm thinking about some Rainbow Bright. Like I always think about like My Little Pony as being... I
coming
think
in
I'm
with like
missing it.
rainbows and
Yeah.
Well, I did really want to be the flying one that went up into the sky. I
Mm-hmm.
really wanted to like be in the clouds. So that kind of checks out.
Right.
Kind of goes along with the weather interest.
Right. I mean, that's where it's happening, right?
It's all coming up from the sky, right? Or coming down, rather.
Right.
I was really into watching Greg Fishel. Anybody remember Greg Fishel? Yeah.
Wait, didn't he do something very scandalous?
You know,
he got dismissed. What did he do?
No one ever found out what he did.
He did
That's the
something
thing.
Scandalous.
It must have been, right? Because if not, they would have said it was medical. They didn't say it was medical or anything like that. But I mean, even years later, now and then I'll Google it to see if something's come out, but nothing.
They kept it under wraps. I remember when it happened, and people were speculating.
Yeah. I heard all types of stuff. I mean.
And who was this? Greg? What's his name?
Greg Fishel.
Because he had been there for how many years? 30 years?
Yeah, 30 years at WRAL.
Okay.
He was like the local weatherman.
All right.
Weatherman. I remember my dad said he met him like at a party in college. And so they're the same age, I guess. And he said, my dad's friend said, "Hey, look, it's the weather guy." And Greg Fishel said, "No, I'm not the weather guy. I'm the meteorologist."
Okay.
But he was trying to get technical with him?
Yeah. That sounds like kind of an asshole thing to say, but he was a lovable guy. I thought he made weather very accessible, and that's probably why I got so into it. He really explained everything. He's one of the first ones I feel like to really like explain.
So it made it more interesting.
He made it more interesting for me. I really connected with it. So I didn't have TV for 18 years old to 30. I just never had television, and then I had like a TV like that for Netflix.
It's pretty large, isn't it?
It wasn't that big, but it was maybe 2/3 the size of that. And
it was on special. So.
Oh well, I won't judge you for having a nice big TV. Very small TV.
With an antenna.
Probably got from the thrift store, right? Vintage store. My mom told me that you can actually steal broadcast television channels with an antenna box, like used to be rabbit ears, right?
Right.
So she got me some one of those antenna boxes.
I got one right there. See that little? Can you see it behind the tiger? It's black.
Oh wow!
I think that's what that is.
Yeah. That's got to be it. I see the antennas.
It has antennas coming out, but it's also a box.
It's also a box.
Okay.
So, and I thought that was such a naughty badass. I thought I was like getting free TV. Right. I mean, I guess it kind of is, but you're not stealing it, right? I mean, if you have a box, you're not supposed to pay for broadcast television, right?
Well,
I don't know.
No, I mean before cable, that's how they just
air.
broadcast.
It's like radio. You don't pay for that.
Right.
The advertising is why.
Right. What?
You don't.
You don't. So I thought I was just such a badass. I told everyone I was stealing free TV. But really, I just plugged in this antenna box my mom gave me. And so I saw that Greg Fishel was still doing the weather, God, like 15 years later. And so I got back into the weather.
Okay, now, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but let me back this up.
It's okay.
When did you first become interested in Greg Fishel?
Okay, yeah. Probably in first or second grade. Okay,
so now we fast forward 15 years. And
wait, longer than that. Wait. I think that would have been 92.
Right.
And so I'm thinking, what year is it now? Oh, God.
It's 22.
So maybe this would have been like 2015, 16, 17.
Oh, wow.
That's many more late.
Yeah,
because I watched him
years.
through high school.
Okay.
I guess. And then stopped at the television. I moved to college.
Right.
So it was about a 15-year gap, but it had been going on for like over 20, 25 years.
Right. So he was an old man.
Yeah, he was. I mean, I thought he was going to retire before he got kicked off the air. Mm-hmm. So I met him at the state fair. I got like a little magnet he autographed. So I was all about the weather.
Kind of meeting your hero.
Meet my hero. So right around the time that he left, I mean, I don't know if it was coincidence. Maybe it was coincidence. It wasn't like, oh, I'm going to take over for Greg Fishel, but I feel like it was maybe a year later or so. I got this job at the Raleigh Pharmacy, working at Coffee Works inside, And my boss wanted me to sit outside in the summer and give people samples of ice cream or smoothies, coffee, drinks, whatever. And that summer, it was 2019, it was like one of the stormiest summers, that I'd noticed. Maybe they're all like that, but I definitely noticed, like, wow, I was sitting outside,
Being outside, right.
So I noticed it a lot more. And I was just killing time. We had very few customers. So this guy, Coulter, came up. He always came by every day. We would sit outside, hang out, he'd smoke a cigarette, and maybe scare off some customers and the smoke, and then I'd lure them back with the sample. And then we just started, we actually did write a little weather rap. I don't remember it now. But we would see the storm start to roll, and we had a really great view on that intersection.
Right.
It's a great view of the sky. So
of course, there's a big opening like that. Wow.
Yeah, it's a huge opening. And it was the one that started it all there was this downburst that summer in Dorothea Dix. I'm not sure if you guys noticed or heard about it, but it was almost like tornado damage, where there was trees were down.
That sounds familiar.
And it's like basically the sky takes a dump and just like goes out, and it's like straight line wind, so it looks like kind of like a tornado is happening.
So it was very shattered.
There you go.
Be.
Like it's like a Shatley spring.
Right.
Going down, not up. And
shattered.
it was very shattered. Everything was shattered, including like so I filmed it all, and I went and hid under the little porch. But our signs were getting blown around. I was not about to go out there in that.
Wow.
And then my boss did. So I have this like video of me like watching him save the signs, and I was just laughing so hard. It's just so it's so fucked up that I made my boss go out there and not me. It was my boss's husband, so and yeah, I got the footage, and that was kind of what started Storm Snatchers. And then Hopscotch came around, and I did my first like reports about there was a hurricane coming, September 2019. I don't remember what it was.
Wow, so I became a fan like pretty early on, right?
Yeah, you were like one of the OGs. You were in the early days.
Wow.
Before I got big.
Before you sold out and started
out.
Actually speaking like regular English or something.
Yes. Yeah, back when it was like, real kind of...
Ugh.
Yeah. Caveman. It was like grunts. It was grunts. Yeah, it's all grunts.
That's how the best... I was comparing it to music. We used to do bands where we wouldn't have lyrics, but we would... And then we started using English, and we sold out.
Oh, we were using like
just
Latin?
It was more emotive, and just it was expressive without having to resort to actually using regular words. We thought we were
kind of cool.
We were very alternative.
Very alternative. Is that a band you're in?
We called it Hannes Whitefish and the Electric Poodle Test.
I love that.
Yeah.
What a great name. That's amazing. Were you like a Raleigh band?
It was.
Or was it different?
It was the bass player for Deadbeat Orchestra and me, the guitar player for Deadbeat Orchestra. When he would spend the night with me between Friday rehearsal night and Saturday afternoon rehearsal night in Winston-Salem. He would come from Chapel Hill, and we would go to Winston, rehearse, come back to Greensboro, spend the night, go back to Winston and rehearse, and then go back to Greensboro, and he would drive back to Chapel Hill.
Tired just hearing about it.
And we did that. Yeah, we did that every week. That's the way that we had a 3-city band. That's the way we functioned.
I've been in a 3-city band before. It was like Raleigh, Durham, Mebane. Whew. But that's a little further.
That's dedication.
It is. It's rock and roll.
But we would come home, come back to my home in Greensboro, and we'd be amped up from the rehearsal, and so we would come up with this thing that we started off with, like Gregorian chants and
nice.
All this delay and stuff on vocals, and then it was actually some pretty neat stuff. And I had that cassette for a long time. This was back in cassettes too. So. Mm-hmm.
Wait, what year did you move back to Greensboro? What year was this?
No, this was
your
with
mom?
No, my mom. I moved to Raleigh to live with my mom.
We said your home in Greensboro?
Yeah, well, that's where I grew up. I grew up in Greensboro.
Oh, this was in like high school.
Yeah.
Ah, got it. Well, that's a lot. You guys did that in high school.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Well, we had a whole night to, we'd just been at rehearsal. We'd probably gotten a little, had a few drinks or a couple puffs or something. And so we had the whole night to hang out, after rehearsal. And so we would come up with just our own thing. But
I'm sorry I missed it. It sounds.
Yeah, there was one glorious cassette of our stuff, but I remember when we did switch to words at one point, and my friend said, "Oh, we kind of sold out."
Sold out. The inevitable switch.
So, but back to your story. I'm sorry, I pulled away. I went on a So, so you sold out. How long did you think that went on? If you started in September so you think that you started around Hopscotch? Because that's like in September of 2019.
Okay. Oh, that's right. So it was the summer that I filmed, but I didn't have the account yet. But I had all these videos I was saving. And
you saw that, like, witnessing this thing where he was getting signed. You're like, weather can be exciting and fun, and there's so much to be captured.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, and then people sometimes were telling me I should be like a weather person. And I was just like, and then it was like it just hit me. It was like I started it the week of Hopscotch because there was a hurricane coming, and so part of me was like, I really will use it to give information. Like it's gonna be kind of a parody, kind of a joke, but also like I will really tell you what's going on.
Nice.
So like, and that's where like people said like they really almost like relied on me for weather. I was like, oh my god, am I getting paid?
Yeah, you did.
I need to get sponsored.
Oh yeah,
maybe I can do it again and get sponsored this time.
Well, that's pretty interesting because when you said it was going to be a parody and you're not going to take it seriously, but at the same time you're giving information that could be valuable to people. Sometimes, to me, that's like. If there's a camera pointed at you, it's like a performance, and that sort of, for me, that puts a little pressure on me. Right. I feel like this. Now, if I think about the idea of a performance as just a bizarre thing that, like, I'm going out to a bar, and everybody in the bar is going to be paying attention to me at some point because there's a microphone in front of me and I'm playing guitar louder, then you sort of have to think about how absurd that is, that you're soaking up all this energy from everybody and one thing that if I don't put it in that, parody, or it lightens it up in such a way that it's freeing.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Up. That's it. Lightens it up. Yeah. Yes, it's almost like, because I'm just not taking it seriously.
Yeah, but it's not like you lied about what was going on outside.
Right. Yes, it was. Yeah.
But it made it fun.
That's what it was. And I probably wouldn't have been able to do it. I wouldn't have wanted to do it if it didn't have that light, airy freeness to it.
Yeah, because you were just yourself, I'm assuming, and that's what made it so fun for me.
Yeah, I was myself, but I was definitely like a little like exaggerated version of myself. Yeah, so it was a little bit like acting. I've never taken acting classes. I don't know anything about acting, but I was exaggerating a little bit and putting on a little, but also like some of it, but like the excitement was real. Because that's what it was. Like I really get excited about storms coming, and I really do. I mean, I get kind of like nerdy excited. But I think what kind of happened was there was like crazy summer when it was like all these crazy storms came. But I started noticing like I would post like, hey, we're going to get something instead of this is what happened. Because I would get my news. I mean, I didn't actually have weather instruments. I would, rely on Greg Fishel or whoever, WRAL.
Right.
But then I started noticing they would amp it up that some crazy storm was coming. And then like half the time it wouldn't even show up.
But you would be like ready for it.
Yeah.
Wow.
That actually happened a lot. I think maybe that was part of where I was like, this is, at least forecasting isn't really working so well.
Right.
And there's also a joke to be had in that too.
Right. Well, I'm expecting, whatever.
Yeah, like
the sky
outside in the sun.
It's supposed to be, you got an umbrella and you're going to be struck. I'm expecting to be struck by lightning, but
maybe I could, I don't think I actually did that. I could do that next time around.
If you get Roger employed, you could actually we got green screens and all this technology. You could actually get struck by lightning.
Oh my god.
Maybe that would be you could zap your way back into the...
Zap my way back.
So let me mention this. So, Storm Snatchers is not necessarily a thing anymore,
It's on
but you are on
extended
here.
hiatus.
That's what it says right there.
Yes, so that asshat changed the name to SS0B12,
Okay.
but that is Storm Snatchers. So you can still view the account.
Mm-hmm. SS, and that's just an OV12
Yeah.
for on
happens-
Instagram, right?
Yeah, what happens if you type Storm Snatchers? Will you try that? I want to see.
Well,
if
that's
this
what I
comes-
did. I'm pretty sure that's what I did.
Oh, it did come up.
Let's see. Yeah, what I put was D period Storm
Yeah, I
Snatchers.
don't know why they changed it.
And what is D period?
They changed it. They put a D there too. So it's like
What
you know,
is-
you have like your handle and then there's like your username. I don't really get it.
Yeah.
What happens if you take away the D? I wonder if you can just search Storm Snatchers.
Did I not do it right?
Okay.
Okay.
So you could still search
Just
Storm
Storm
Snatchers if you
Snatchers.
want to view the archive.
One word, Storm Snatchers. And I would recommend this to anybody because this is, obviously this is not current weather.
It's past,
However,
historical.
in the spirit of disastrous weather formations on film, it's exciting. And your enthusiasm is real. And you're,
I appreciate your enthusiasm too. I was gonna say it really became infectious because a lot of the people on there were guest snatchers.
Oh, I remember that.
So
that
people
wasn't
got-
as cool.
What?
It wasn't as cool.
Really?
Well, they were nice and they were stuff, but I was like, I really needed a shot of Sue
You need
today.
a shot of me. But it was cool that people. The part I liked about that is people would report from all over the state. So
Oh,
it'd be
that's kinda cool.
That
Like
was
you had a
really
network.
Cool. Yeah, I had a network like field reporters. And some of my friends, I will say, they had a little bit of a knack.
Okay.
Some of them did, not all, but some.
It would be funny if you had them like, okay, I'm out here. Now back to you, Sue. And you're like sitting around the house like, yeah, well, I couldn't make it today because I had to eat this thing of popcorn and watch this movie.
Oh
so.
my god, that's hilarious.
But I'm glad you're doing okay. And I got my fuzzy slippers on. So
Oh my,
back
you
to you.
Great ideas for the reboot.
yeah.
Oh my
yeah.
gosh, I'm gonna come to you. For
All right.
All my reboot ideas.
Yeah. Well, thanks.
Yeah.
Roger's got
And Roger-
1,001 ideas too.
This is great.
So-
Like, this is my creative team right here. Maybe this is the new Storm Snatchers creative team.
Bum, 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 bum.
Yeah.
See, and now we got a theme song that just came into my
What is
head.
it? Let's hear it.
I was thinking of like bum 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 Storm Snatchers bum 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 snatching away the weather that comes from the sky down on you like a big dump. Snapping away. It's like it's shitting on you from the sky. Shadooby, shattered, shattered, shadooby, shattered, shattered, Storm Snatchers!
Shitting on you.
Shitting on you, coming at ya, Storm Snatchers! Coming at ya!
Coming at you.
Coming at you.
Sue on your side.
Sue on your side.
That's great! I'm glad we have that on camera so we can save that for later.
I know, we'll watch it. And
Oh my gosh. Well, I do hate to cut this short, but I do have to go get clothes for
yeah.
this wedding.
Oh.
Bra.
You going to a wedding tonight?
Tonight? No, not tonight. Actually, I did go to a wedding a couple
Damn.
Wednesdays ago. Oh, and Tina.
Oh, right.
Tina's reception a couple Wednesdays ago. So
She didn't invite me.
it was
that
very
bitch.
small. It was like all family and then like 2 friends.
I haven't known her as well as I'd like to, but I've seen her around, and for a short time, it was just magical.
Oh, she's great. She's the best.
She's very cool.
I'm sure if she could have had more people there, she would have totally
Yeah,
had you.
yeah. I don't know. I don't see how people want to make that big of a celebration of themselves in that sort of way for just getting married. But I mean, I guess maybe if there's a party to be had and people like to party, then it could be the most significant thing that or one of the most significant things that ever happens to you. If maybe I'm just down.
Well,
on the whole
sometimes no, I
marriage
kind of agree. And hers, she did a good job. It was kind of a low key thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't like the ceremony, this huge ordeal. It was mostly just like a dinner, and I liked that one. And I think that sometimes it's like more obligatory for the family. People do it for that reason.
Right.
And this week I'm going to a big ass wedding in
Where's
Georgia.
that?
My friend
Oh,
Shane's
wow.
getting married.
Oh, congratulations, Shane.
Yeah, congrats, Shane and Meg. Big road trip happening. So, yeah.
Okay, well, thanks for being here. And maybe we can get a recording of you saying, like, Velvet Aquarium so we can use that at the beginning.
Sure. Yeah, let's do it. How should I say it?
I don't know.
Should we do it together?
Yeah, what are we going to say?